The Golden Heart of Africa. The Manden Kurufaba, a legacy of wealth, wisdom, and power. The Sahelian frontier. Across the vast, shifting sands of the Sahara and along the fertile, life-giving riparian corridor of the Niger River, there once arose a civilization that redefined the medieval world. This was not merely a kingdom of gold, but an empire of remarkable wisdom, complex governance, and global influence. This was the Mali Empire, known to its people as the Manden Kurufaba. From the 13th to the 17th century, this civilization shaped the trajectory of trade, culture, and intellectual life across the known world. To understand the modern world, one must first understand the Golden Heart of Africa, the eclipse of Ouagadougou, and the rise of the Lion King. To understand Mali, we must look to the vacuum left by the Ouagadougou Empire. Known to history as ancient Ghana, by the 11th century, Ouagadougou had fractured under the weight of environmental desiccation and the Almoravid interventions. In the ensuing chaos, the Sasso Kingdom, led by the blacksmith king Semanguru Kante, rose to power through military coercion. But the true story of Mali begins with Sundiata Keita, born with a physical infirmity and forced into exile. Sundiata's life is the foundational narrative of Mandinka resilience. He was more than a conqueror. He was a master of diplomacy. In 1235 CE, at the Battle of Kirina, Sundiata's coalition of Mandinka clans defeated the Sasso. This was the birth of the Manden Kurufaba, the Mande Federation. The Kouroukan Fouga, the world's first constitution. Following his victory, Sundiata convened a grand assembly at Kouroukan Fouga. Here, the Mandinka established one of the world's oldest oral constitutions. It divided the empire into the 12 doors of Mali, establishing a federal system of 32 clans. This was a sophisticated social contract. It included the Dijo Ntenenawuro, the 16 noble quiver carriers, the Morikanda, religious scholars, and the Nyamakala, specialized guilds. Central to this were the Jeliu, or griots. In the Mandinka dialect, the Jeliu were the masters of the word, the walking archives, diplomats, and advisors who ensured that the Mansa, the king of kings, ruled with justice. The TRI commodity economy. Mali's global hegemony was fueled by its control over three precious commodities: gold, salt, and copper. The auriferous deposits of the Bambuk and Bure regions provided two-thirds of the world's gold supply. Yet, in the Sahel, salt from the Tagaza mines was equally vital, often traded weight for weight, with gold for its biological necessity and preservative power. The architects of this wealth were the Dayala, a professional class of merchants who established trans-Saharan networks stretching from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean. They didn't just carry goods, they carried ideas, spreading literacy and Islamic jurisprudence across the continent. Mansa Musa and the global shockwave. In 1312, Mansa Musa I ascended the throne, while his predecessor, Abubakar II, is said to have launched an expedition of 2,000 ships to explore the Atlantic. It was Musa who brought Mali to the center of the world stage. His Hajj to Mecca in 1324 was a masterstroke of geopolitical marketing, traveling with 60,000 men and tons of gold. He caused an inflationary shock in Cairo that depressed gold prices for over a decade. This event was so significant that European cartographers included him in the 1375 Catalan Atlas, depicting a black king as the wealthiest man on earth. This moment redefined the global perception of Africa, the intellectual renaissance of Timbuktu. Musa's legacy was not just gold, but the intellectual import. He brought back scholars and architects like Abu Ishaq al-Saheli, who designed the Jingareber Mosque. This birthed the Sudano-Sahelian architectural style, a synthesis of Islamic geometry and African materials. Timbuktu became the University of the Sands. At the University of Sankore, 25,000 students studied astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and law. Thousands of manuscripts were written in Ajami, using Arabic script, to record African languages. This proves that West Africa was a bastion of written literacy and scientific inquiry long before colonial narratives suggested otherwise. Spirituality and syncretism. Spirituality in Mali was a harmonious synthesis. While the elites practiced Islam, The rural heartland maintained their ancestral traditions. The Mandinka believed in Nyama, a spiritual energy present in all things. This created a society of religious pluralism where the mosque and the sacred grove coexisted. This spiritual tolerance prevented the religious wars seen elsewhere, ensuring that the empire remained a stable golden heart for centuries. Beyond the gold, black upliftment. The story of Mali is the ultimate refutation of the myth of African inferiority. It provides a blueprint for black agency and excellence. Mali was a global leader in statecraft, education, and economics when much of the world was in disarray. By reclaiming the history of the Manden, we reclaim the truth of African history. Mali stands as proof that the ancestors of the black diaspora were architects of civilization, masters of the desert, and guardians of global knowledge. Decline and eternal legacy. By the late 15th century, internal succession crises and the rise of the Songhai Empire saw Mali's political power fade. Yet, the empire never truly died. Its cultural DNA lived on in the Songhai, the Ashanti, and the modern nations of the Sahel. Mali's legacy is the Sankofa, the wisdom of looking back to fetch what is lost to build a better future. It remains a beacon of what is possible when a civilization prioritizes the mind, respects the spirit, and masters the earth. The Mali Empire reminds us that history is not a static collection of dates, but a living dialogue between the past and the future. By reclaiming the story of the Manden Kurufaba, we do more than just study an empire. We restore a missing chapter of the human story. Mali's true gold was never just the metal pulled from the earth, but the knowledge preserved in its libraries and the justice codified in its laws. It stands as a timeless testament to African agency, intellectual brilliance, and the power of a unified vision. As we look forward, may we carry the spirit of the Manden with us, a spirit of excellence, a heart of gold, and a mind of infinite wisdom.